Hey, you culinary cats and kittens, welcome to Sous Vide Fresh Bites with me, Chef Eric Villegas. Today's recipe, beef short ribs, sous vide, 24 hours. Why? Because you get unparalleled texture, you get unparalleled tenderness, and the sauce, it's robust, brimming with savor, with things like red wine and wild mushrooms. Absolutely delicious. I can't wait to get started. Let's get cooking. When you're doing a braised dish sous vide, it's really a good idea to sear, to get that Maillard reaction first. Because chances are that if you sear it first, when it comes out of the bag, you're ready to eat. You don't necessarily have to do anything secondarily to it. And since it's a braise, it could fall apart and do all that stuff. So I like to season these and sear them first before they go into the bag. You could use salt, you could use pepper. For this application, I'm using my wild mushroom blend. It's got a really lovely mushroom flavor, which is good because the sauce is going to have mushrooms in it as well. And when you're seasoning something like this, you want to be really liberal. A lot of the seasoning is going to fall off in the pan, but especially with a short rib, you want to get every nook and cranny of this gorgeous meat all seasoned up and nicely seasoned. At this point, you could let these rest for maybe a few hours to get that going, but I think we're going to be fine. No. Now, let's sear. Ooh, sizzle. And then I'm just going to continually turn them on all sides to get a nice, even brown crust. Let's make some sauce, shall we? So in the same pan that I seared off the ribs, I cleaned it out a little bit, put some of the fat back in, so I had something to start with. And now I've got finely chopped carrots, celery, and onion in the pan. And while those are going, a little bit of salt, get the flavor starting to go. There's a couple things to keep in mind. The ribs have already been seasoned. And this is going to be the flavoring base. But I'm also going to, in addition to the salt, use more of the rub since it's already on the meat. So just something like that. So let's let these cook away. Let those saute, let those soften for about 5 minutes or so. I've got a really nice translucent onion, carrot, celery mixed with the garlic. And now we're going to deglaze the pan with the red wine. And then to that, we're also going to add some beef stock. And if you check out the VacMaster Fresh website, I have a great rich beef stock recipe in there that you're going to probably love. Really no fuss, no muss stock. So now as the wine is reducing with the beef stock, I want to add some of the other flavoring, some tomato paste. And now I'm going to use something you might or might not use. I'm using marmite. And this is a yeast extract. It is a umami bomb. It is just oodles of flavor. And then to that, I'm going to add a little bit, not a lot, of chili flakes. A couple pinches. That should be plenty. And then because we're using wild mushroom in this particular dish, I've got a mix. And then some fresh bay leaves. And some sage. Boink. Now, this is all we need in here, and we want to reduce this down. We want it to be full of flavor and not too watery, because this is going to go in the bag with the meat. There's no evaporation taking place during the sous vide cooking, and the meat is going to release a lot of its own liquid that's going to mingle in. And hopefully when we're done, we figured it out right, we're going to have the perfect combination and the perfect thickness for our sauce. We're ready. The meat has cooled, the sauce has cooled, circulator at 70 degrees Celsius for about 24 hours. Bag, open that bad boy up, put it on the bag filler. That's there. Now I'm going to take one of these nice big old honkin', look at that rib, right inside. Doink! And then I'm going to take some of the sauce. Again, it doesn't look very saucy. It's thick, it's got the mushrooms, the tomato paste, all those wonderful flavorings in there. But that meat is also, after 24 hours, it's going to exude its own liquid. It's going to create the sauce in the bag. So, pull it off, just like that, and we're going to go ahead and vacuum seal it. One of the unique features of the SV10 is it has an incorporated temperature probe into it. So how do you use a temperature probe in a vacuum sealed bag? Well, it's pretty cool actually. We get this special sous vide tape, and I'm going to press it down so it's nice and tight and let that sit for about 5 seconds. Then I take my probe, which is extremely sharp, and I'm simply going to push the probe through the tape, through the bag, into the meat. This spongy part seals around the probe so you don't lose a seal in the bag. Now, how do you know it's working? Well, you come over to the machine. There's a very light probe icon. I press it. Now that it's pressed and highlighted, this is showing me the internal temperature of the meat right now, 25 C and rising. The probe's on, hit start again. And now this will show us during the entire cook at just a glance what the internal temperature of the meat is and it's cooking. So we just take the meat, we drop it, and I'm gonna see you in about 24 hours. Check this out, these ribs are ready. And again, it's kind of crazy to think about it, but this probe pierced the tape, pierced the bag, and we never lost the seal. And that's the beauty of the sous vide tape. You can do this, you can monitor cooking while you're underwater. But what I also want you to notice is the amount of liquid in the bag. Remember when we put the sauce in, it was thick and there was almost no sauce. But now, after 24 hours, the beef rib has given up a lot of its juice and has created a sauce, and that's beautiful. Because we seared the meat before we put it in the bag and got the sauce all ready, this is ready to go. So once this has been reheated for service, all you need to do is cut it out of the bag and put it on your plate, and you're done. Imagine how fast service can be when you start cooking in this particular style. And that looks good there. And I'm just gonna take a little bit more of the rub, the wild mushroom rub, and just a little sprinkle, and there you've got it. This is a 24-hour beef rib cooked sous vide at 70 degrees Celsius with wild mushrooms, my wild mushroom rub, reduced red wine, tomato paste. It's absolutely delicious. Yum. Just yum. So there you have it, yet another sous vide bite for you. If you enjoy what you saw and you want to see more, hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear from you. Please leave a comment and let's chat. So until next time, see ya!